And once again, a huge shout out to all of our financial supporters, our 87.8 survivors. All of them are on the screen there. You too can become a member just by clicking the join button down below. We also are now doing memberships over on Spotify as well, so feel free to become a member that way as well. A big shout out though to our podcast bosses, Cinnamon and Kenny Baker. Thank you guys so much. All of you are legends who help the shows go on each and every week. Thank you all for your support, even just by watching or listening, and we hope you enjoy this week's show. And welcome to the DayZ Podcast, episode 139, although this is starting to feel more like a spotlight because after several postponements of this, we are finally able to get the show done. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like any of my co-hosts are going to be here, so it's just me and you, Dave. How you doing, buddy?
Not bad. Yourself?
Not too... yeah. I've definitely proved my my boomer levels quite high the last few days. So basically, but the primary thing I've managed to do, I've filled you in beforehand, but I better let chat know, is I managed to basically, it appears, brick my Stream Deck by uploading an image to the screensaver that was too high of a resolution for it. I blame Lad because he had that lovely community podcast logo made, and I thought that looks really good. I'm going to put that as my screensaver on my Screen Deck, and it's like 4,000 4K image, and yeah, it's only meant to have like a 1200 by 600 or something image put onto it, and even we ended up on the phone after poor old Dancer Jesus spent 5 hours with me getting frustrated at my little boomer antics, like moving my mouse in circles on the screen and all sorts of weird stuff that I do. But yeah, we're operating. We're operating. So that's the main thing. We found some other issues that I've been having as well, and but we're finally here, Mr. Dave. I love what you and your Legends community does, mate. When I first heard about it, I was like, wow, how are you not more well known? Tell us a bit about what you do, mate.
So yeah, we're the aptly named Legends. We started off as a small community based around a streamer called Legends of Mythos.
Yep.
And we used to assist Mythos a lot. He gave us a chance to develop our first server. We kind of grew from there as we started to learn how to do more. The same thing kept coming around, and it was always the same. It was always the same problem when somebody wanted to do something. It either cost too much or nobody would tell them.
Yeah.
And it was always that problem. And we kind of sat there and thought, why? Why does it always have to cost so much? And why are people keeping all this information to the chest? Why are they not just telling people? I mean, some of this is actually quite easy to learn. It's not difficult. And yeah, we set up the Legends with an idea of we give up our spare time for the betterment of DayZ.
I love that.
Means server hosters, players. Yeah, it means anybody and everything that is involved in DayZ is in our interest. It's in our remit. And we try to do absolutely everything we can for free. We try and watch what's going on in the community. So when we see something is going to happen or is about to happen, and we don't like the look of that, like, you know, a server shutting down that's a good server, but it's shutting down because they can't afford to run it. We'll try and provide them with a free dedicated unit, and we'll try and host a server for them.
Yep.
We've actually got 10 running now in England, Florida, and Canada. Other members of the community have stepped up. Got, you know, some systems up, set the systems up in their own house. People like Lead Breakfast, Ant Number, now host servers in other countries. We've had our staff team expand somewhat in the last couple of months, with a lot of new skills being brought to the table. We've got our resident 3D importer now that imports new objects on request.
Yep.
Which is really cool when people come and asking for mods, and we're actually able to develop them for them and say, yeah, here you go. It's on the workshop. Take it, upload it yourself. Job's a good one.
I absolutely love that, mate, because it's something that I'm so glad that someone was just able to get it done, because it's a dream I've had to, you know, on a smaller scale, like I had my idea for the real storage mod. I love all the storage mods that are in DayZ, but I think most of them just don't fit with what survivors would be able to create. And I tried,
Yeah.
but wasn't able to get anything going myself. I love the fact that you guys have just, fuck it, let's just do it and see what we can get done. And you seem to be gravitating and drawing in a lot of like-minded people, and I just have to respect that so much, mate, because you've raised two big issues that I have as well. You know, there's a financial barrier because sometimes buying models and things like that, all of these things add up, and a lot of people expect a lot of this stuff to just be free for them, but someone has to pay somewhere along the line, or they're breaking copyright and things like that by stealing someone else's IP, and then there's the skill gap, and it's we've got the 87.8 website, and I'll let you.
I'll restart the server. Sorry, 1 second. I've just got to restart the event server.
Yep.
I'll just do that now. It's a terrible timing, but it needs doing. Have they crashed the server again by spawning too many things in? If you try to spawn the ice dragon again. There you go. You can let them know it's restarting. Thank you, Darwin. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but the skill gap, it's so hard to find all of the information about this sort of stuff, and there's very, very few people in the community who can do everything. I don't think there really is anyone. Most people seem to always need to outsource in some way, and if you've got a team of people who are prepared to just help people for free, who can cover almost all the skill sets, man, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think at the moment we've got very few holes in our skill sets, and the holes we have got are not. I wouldn't say they're complete holes. We've got partial skills in those areas.
Yep.
We just haven't quite got it fine-tuned yet. There's still a few things to learn. But yeah, we've managed to cover almost every skill area now, which has taken some time. I'm not going to lie. It's taken a lot of like-minded people, like you said. But it seems that these people tend to gravitate. Usually they've come for some kind of assistance. They've come for some kind of help. They've got the help they needed, and they've hung around in the community for a bit, and then they've gone, hang on a minute, is this what you do all the time? Is this what you all do? This is great. Okay, how do I get involved? It turns out I can actually do this, and without them even knowing that we have that skill.
Yep.
They tend to offer the skill. That's really humbling, because in the start, we did have to approach some people, and say, hey, do you mind helping out? Because we kind of don't know this. The G Code, Josie, he was one of the first help communities I found that was quite willing to work with us. They mainly specialise in console modding, whereas we're obviously PC modding, but they know a lot of JSONs and the XMLs and stuff like the back of the hand. So they were able to supply... Oh, sorry, it is starting. I've just got to press the go button. Because I wasn't concentrating. There you go. Now it's starting. I completely forgot what I said there. But they helped us out a lot with the code side.
Yep.
Made a few of the templates actually for the loading screen was made by Josie. And
have you had any pushback from the people who charge for these services? They don't like what you guys are doing?
Nothing major yet. Certainly nothing that rocks the boat too much. We have had some people come back on some mods. One of our members got a DMCA for something they had the rights to, but they just didn't like the fact that they were just saying, hey, you know what? Have it. Do it. And they didn't like it, and they set up quite a few false DMCAs against them. We've had the odd salty person come into a stream chat or the odd YouTube comment. But so far, that's about it. But I think a lot of that is we haven't really pushed onto a lot of the more expensive mods and such that are out there yet. A lot of the ones that we do that are replacements for paid mods are smaller stuff at the moment. We're still finding our feet, so to speak, in the development world. But I do expect in the future, yes. I genuinely expect a bit of a pushback from some people who are...
Well, you've only got to look at the situation with Nightwolf and Red Falcon. Red Falcon's doing high-quality choppers for free. That obviously impacts, but the market will decide. I firmly believe that there's room for both paid and free stuff because It's as we've said, it is expensive, and you mentioned yourself that some of these mods are quite expensive, not just in financial, but in also time. The more complex mods take a lot of time to keep them updated. So
Yeah,
there's always room for both free and for paid stuff, because when you're paying for something, you expect a higher service. When it's free, you know that it's not like you can just oh shit, something's broken. Dave, fix your fucking mod. I got this for free, so I need you to dude, calm down. I'll do it when
yeah.
I've got the time. That's the way this operates. So it's up to you what you need. It depends on the how big of an impact that mod is going to have. So I love that this is an idea. When it comes to, you said your team's been growing. Like how many people are in the Legends community now?
I've lost count of the staff amount, but I know it's quickly approaching 30 members of staff.
Wow.
Around 10 VIPs as well, and we're 500 members strong. So we're a reasonable size for something that's only been about a year.
Yep.
Not bad, to be fair. It has exceptionally grown. I mean, some of that has been the help from the YouTube, I have to admit. YouTube is an extremely good resource. It really is. The fact that your stuff hangs around forever is
Evergreen
a godsend.
content. Yep.
Yeah. You can say something on Twitch and it can be gone in a week or so. No one will ever remember it. But you say something on YouTube, that's there for life. That's staying there unless you delete it.
Look, to talk about us a bit with the podcast, I think that's one of the beauties of us is the conversations that we have amongst our team and with guests like you. They're the same sort of stuff that most streamers are talking about with their chat during a stream. But especially when it comes to Twitch, who goes and watches those VODs back? Not many people, only the really diehard fans. And that content is just lost. Whereas, we try to talk about all of the issues that most people are talking about in the DayZ community. Try to avoid the drama as much as possible, but sometimes that kind of finds me. But it's a case of getting that information out there so that it can be found again. And we've started doing timestamps recently. But what about you guys? Do you have your own YouTube channel?
Yeah, I've been doing YouTube now for just over a year. I'm at 1,800 and something subscribers.
Yep. So you're monetized now?
I am monetized, yeah. I'm ironically waiting for my new passport to come through. So I'm not getting paid anything from AdSense yet, but I am monetized. I'm in the partner program, which is going to be a big assistance in the future. I've got to admit, having a semi-passive income will assist. It's not great. I don't know where people get the idea that that YouTube is a big money maker, because it's not.
Mate, we actually reached a milestone ourselves. I think we made $200 for the first time in a month, and I was like, wow. And it quickly disappears with all the costs, and I pay for some subscriptions and Streamlabs Pro and Adobe Editor and things like that, and it doesn't go very far, even for a non-technical community like us. Whereas, how much of your own, this is a bit of a personal question, but how much of your own personal money do you reckon you put into this community of yours?
In the last year, somewhere in the region of £4,000-5,000.
Easy. Yep. And to break that down, that would probably be about $600 to $6,500 Aussie dollars. You're getting close to 10K. So Canadian similar, New Zealand similar. That's a lot of money.
I'll be totally honest. I pour around a third of my entire income into this community.
Yep.
It isn't. I will say it's a labor of love at the end of the day. I don't ever feel like I've wasted my money. I always feel like don't use that donation. It does not work.
You need to get rid of that.
I need to get that off. I've got the same PayPal problem you guys have got.
Oh, they think you're suspicious.
Yeah, they think I'm suspicious. Donations are suspicious. You need to provide postage.
Wow. I got mine sorted, mate. But it took a lot of. I actually started calling PayPal and talking to them, which is a pain in the ass to try to do, because, like most organisations, they want you to do everything via message centres and shit like that. but we did
Yep.
end up getting ours fixed. So
Well,
keep
they have
pushing
said to
them.
me, yeah, they have said to me when my replacement passport comes through, if I supply my new passport, then they will reinstate the account. So
Hmm.
it's not a complete disaster. It's an inconvenience at the moment, I suppose, is
Yeah,
the
yeah.
word to use. It's not convenient. It's not ideal, but it is what it is.
Now this Fallout server, mate.
Yes.
You had the actual Fallout costume on the other day when you were trying to waiting for us to get the show started the first time we had issues. What?
Yep.
Why? Firstly, have you had any copyright issues with that? Have they?
No. What we've been very careful to do, though, is this is a themed server. It's a parody. And all the objects that we're using, we're importing ourselves and are slightly different than the ones in Fallout. We've been
Like
very,
power
very
armor and
careful to
stuff
not.
like that.
Yeah, power armor, the little Vault dude guy, he's slightly different. The logo has been changed for Vault Tech slightly. The same across the board because yeah, we're quite concerned about copyright.
Yeah.
You know, we use something that's too close and they are going to come down on us like a ton of bricks. But obviously, it's been a dream of mine for some time. The Fallout themed server.
Yep.
Something that in the day when we started this, we didn't have the skills to do, and we knew we didn't have the skills to do. And now, recently, we do, and we've developed quite a bit now. I mean, there's actually 2 trailers. This is the early one, so this is the first go at making anything and getting it working in there. And then the second one is a bit cleaner. We've got the items cleaned up better. We've got better textures on the go. We haven't had to use things like D&E key cards anymore. We've managed to find our own solution for the teleportation. That van actually drives now because it didn't drive before.
Yep. Good old Nuka-Cola.
Oh yeah, you can't beat Nuka-Cola. Sap that thirst. But obviously, it's well documented that I'm a very big Fallout fan. They are my 2 loves in life, or my 2 loves in gaming are Fallout and DayZ. That's what I love more than anything else. Yeah, so this is the newest one,
Yep.
which only come out 6 days ago. It's actually done quite well for a trailer. It's done 1,000 views in the first week, so slightly impressed at that. I wasn't expecting it to climb that quickly. 2020. Yeah, okay, I'll catch up with my chat for a minute. Yeah, got me, kid. Bo, Jack, I see you. Yes, summer 2023, summer this year. Is that? Oh, that's the power. That's the power armor helmet. That is. Oh, it is. It's the power armor helmet. It's the one I couldn't get. I mean, I've got my Pit Boy. I've got my Pit Boy, but I haven't got a power armor helmet. That's the one thing I haven't got.
Hey.
I said I haven't got the power armor helmet. It's like one of the few things I haven't got. I've got almost every other collectible. I've got all my Pit Boys. I've got all the little figurines. Most of them are in the cases, so I can't show you them. My Fallout flag is on the wall. Oh yes, he's got the Pit Boy too. He's got the actual Pit Boy too. I love it.
Now it will oh no, it doesn't like because I've got the blur factor on. But
Is it?
I've talked about that power armor helmet a lot on the show, and how they it sits up. It's so dusty, as a shame, because Fallout 76 broke my son and I's heart. We both bought power.
Yeah.
We've got 2 of the power armor helmets. We both bought power armor editions, and yeah, we've got the Pip Boy. Yeah, we've got. There's like a whole shelf there of stuff just devoted to Fallout. But yeah, they really broke our heart with Fallout 76, mate. It
Yeah,
was
I feel you. I really do. It's just no. Why did they do that?
yeah.
And
Oh,
that's one of the reasons I even started on DayZ. You know, if Fallout 76 wasn't as bad as it was, not sure I'd have ever given DayZ the time of day.
yep,
Don't get me wrong, I'm so bloody glad I did because you know
yeah.
it was a game changer. I mean, I spent months suffering on DayZ on the PlayStation 4, and suffering is the only word. I
Yep.
mean, it was such a steep learning curve. I'd never had anything like it. And I like to consider myself a good gamer. I mean, I'm not a great shot, to be precise, that shows. But I consider myself to be a really good gamer, and that was a real uphill struggle.
See, that's the beauty of a game like DayZ. Like Fallout's good as well because you've got the critical hits you can do, which can help someone who's not laser reflexes and all the rest of it. But DayZ's a game that's just so much more than just PvP. You can still have fun in that
Yeah.
game even if you suck at PvP. And I'm like you,
Yeah.
mate. I suck at it as well. I've just gotten worse as I get older. The reflexes are dying on me, and but yeah, DayZ is just such a beautiful game like that. The other
Yeah,
one I wanted
it's
to talk to you about as well, mate. I loved your "Go West" parody song. Go
a
West.
little delve in Dave's sense of humour.
Obviously,
I
can't
mean,
play
I
it
wish I was.
because of copyright, but
Yeah, copyright. Okay, yeah.
yeah, but it was good. It was good, mate.
Thank you. I just wish I was better at producing audio than I am. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm learning with my video editing. My video editing is
There we go. People are in here. So yeah, but yeah, we really want to see about some sort of way of getting all of this information in one easy to find location, not redo what's already been done. There's so many amazing creators out there with good guides. You've got BI have got some tools as well, so you don't need to redo it all. You just need to have an easy to use interface that links people to channels like yours, with guides on it. Channels like Dumpgrass, which have got guides on it for modding. Channels like ScaleSpeeder. ScaleSpeeder's probably got one of the best channels out there with resources for so many different aspects of running a server and uploading mods and even things like you just want to create your own server on your own PC. There's probably no better person to find the guides from with ScaleSpeeder. And
yeah.
that's
Oh,
our
yeah.
goal is, we've got the website. So I might have a chat with you about that, mate, and see if there's some sort of way we can collab on it to get this going ASAP because, I know DayZ's not going anywhere. The game is the ultimate zombie game. It just never dies. But the sooner we can get something out there for the community as a resource, that links to the different discords, like yours, like Big Grandpa's for map makers, like the Modders Discord for people interested in modding, and so on and so on and so on.
Yeah.
Any big
I think
name
that's
people?
a really good idea.
Any big name people come to you and said they want to volunteer their time? More well-known names in the modding community.
Red Falcon did a little bit in the background for us.
Yep.
So I've really got to say thank you. I'm not sure if he had any intention of ever putting the racing boats in the mod until we asked. I've seen them in there now, which is cool, which gives us another event. And he's working on our blimps as well.
Yep.
Our Zeppelins to make them fly.
Chinese spy balloons.
Yeah, spy balloons.
I loved that when I saw someone. Was that Dinos? Dinos.
It was Dinos. Dinos. Yeah.
The clips of the Chinese spy balloons. It was like. You've got, mate. The way the world is at the moment, you've just got to laugh about shit like that. I know some people.
Really do.
So I know some people can't laugh at anything, but me, I personally love that sort of stuff. You've just got to get crazy and yeah.
I think we have had we've had some big names come in for some of the events we've been creating and some of the events we've assisted in, which was quite humbling. When you aren't that big of a creator, you're very new into the development world. You see a DM from I hate name dropping, but we had Fresh Bonds in for the racing event,
Yep.
And that was a shaky moment. To be fair, that was like, wow, okay, you know, that we're actually catching the attention of these kind of people is never what we intended in the first place. But it's fantastic. It's humbling.
May not be what you intended, but it's definitely what you deserve, mate, because there needs to be more selfless people doing stuff like this just for the sake of, you know, for the game. They love the game, love the community around it. The majority of the community. There are a couple of outliers. I did laugh when you said you're for everyone in the DayZ community. I was thinking, yeah, I could probably drop a couple of names of people that aren't so welcome. But yeah,
you and me both.
See, but yeah, but no, I love this sort of stuff, mate. You know, it's I wish more people were more philanthropic about things like this. You know, it's why we do our silly little Christmas show giveaway every year, because you know no one really does stuff like that. So yeah, we make a little bit of money, and you know, like yourself, this is my hobby. You know, so that's why I throw in a fair bit of cash as well, and we get to, you know, we find other like-minded people, like good old Petty Weddy, man. Giving away those figurines was just legendary, and I'm so happy Scarspeeder got it as well. And that we were able to send one to the dev team. You know, Scotty's got Hannah because he's done an amazing job with that. But yeah, I definitely want to see if there's a way that we can work closer with you guys to bring more of this sort of good stuff. Like even with the work with the events, you guys worked with Ariana on an event too, didn't you?
Yeah, we do give some assistance to Ariana. We reached out a while back when she was first doing War of the Women. I think it was Kings of the Castle, I think the first we assisted in. I tend to do a bit of admin work for her now on the events. I'm doing the Saturday War of the Survivors, but I'm admin the Sunday. So very, very kind of to let me actually play on the Saturday and not being admin. Thank you.
Yeah,
I really want to do it.
It's important that you've got to make sure you still have a bit of fun. You know, modders, which you guys are as well. One of the biggest faults I think a lot of them have is they just end up being so engrossed in the modding side of it, they forget the fun side of it, which is actually playing the game. So it's good that
if you lose that enjoyment for playing the game, eventually you'll lose the enjoyment of modding as well.
Yep.
Because it'll become a chore. It'll become almost like a job. And when it becomes like a job, I want to do it. Nobody wants to do, you know, nobody wants the hobby to become a job.
Unless you're going to make some good coin out of it, but it's very hard with the way BI have got it set up to become profitable. You've basically got to be ruthless, like someone like Nightwolf, to be able to do that. There's very few who can do it effectively.
Yeah, and the last thing we want to do is end up, you know, without offending the guy, end up like Nightwolf, because his prices are very high.
I've said as well that, you know, my only issue with that guy is the way he goes about it. I love the fact that he's able to earn a living from doing mods. And yeah, like we said, there are free alternatives out there. But if you want to pay, you know, I'm a capitalist whore at heart. The market will decide if people feel his products are worth it, and there's a lot of people who do. Good for you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But
we had this discussion, and we very nearly bought some helicopters off Nightwolf. The only thing that actually stopped us was the limitation on the amount of Legend servers we'd be able to put them on.
Yes, and you know how rabid he is about that as well. Some people have woken up to some funky stuff happening on their servers when they've breached the contract that they had with him.
Yes, there's that side as well. There's the sketchier side of the modding world. We do get quite a few requests to check mods, basically.
Backdoors.
Have a look at the mod and see if there's any backdoors in it, basically.
Yeah.
See if there's anything nasty in there that shouldn't be. And yeah, at times we have found some stuff. We once found a config buried into a mod that created a false play account. So it would actually create a false play account on the launcher side.
I wish Archie was here. I wish Archie was here. He'd be losing his shit right now. You need to have a chat with Archie Stormcloud about that, because he's been delving into that world as well of these false play accounts and how they're doing it, because it's a lot of people are doing it these days. Running servers is ruthless. And again, like I said, I'm a capitalist whore at heart, but that's not to say that there's not faults with that. When people are running monetized servers where they're making money and in some cases making a living from it, they're going to do some ordinary shit like that to get people to join their servers. And then, people, I'm hearing it time and time again at the moment. I'm joining these high pop servers and I'm not seeing a single player. I'm not hearing a single gunshot. I was watching my mate Fubar Bundy. He was playing on a server and he was like, where is everyone? It's bad at the moment.
Yeah. And you can see why they do it, because you've got the inherent problem with DayZ servers that a lot of people won't play unless the server is populated.
Yes.
The server won't populate unless people play.
Yeah.
And you do this vicious circle where until it hits a certain pop, all of a sudden they just start flowing in like no tomorrow. So they inflate their numbers to get the people in the first place and then lower the inflation when it balances out. But obviously, if you're one of those first 5 or 10 people in there and you think there's 80 to 90 people in there, and there's not. There's you and 8 others in the size of Cherno. You've all got a different spawn. You're never going to see each other.
No.
Right. And the thing is, in my mind, it kills it off, because our servers that have grown over time have grown with a constant player base. So it's those same 8 to 10 people coming back that started to creep the numbers up. Because as a new guy comes, there's those same 7 or 8 people still playing again. And it just creeps up and creeps up and creeps up and creeps up. And that's kind of how it's supposed to happen. It's supposed to happen over time. It's not supposed to go boom, unless you're really well known in the development world. Zero, for example, if Zero opens a server, in come the people immediately, obviously, and there's the other side as well of advertising. And if a good sized streamer makes a YouTube video or streams on your server, you can guarantee a player increase. Yep. And sometimes I feel like server hosters should pitch themselves a bit more to these creators. You want to get your name out there, then what's wrong with going and messaging a creator and saying, hey, look, you mind checking out my server? What's the worst they can say? No.
Yep.
Nothing lost.
It's something that we're looking at on here as well, is Archie's thinking that every week he's going to try to showcase a different server, just to do our little bit to try and help people, because it's brutal. It's a bit like being a streamer, a DayZ streamer on Twitch. Unless you've got an established audience, which you've generated from YouTube or something like that, you are one of hundreds of people playing. And every time someone like Summit plays the game, then you end up with all the copycats of Summit who are trying to emulate what he does. They go, oh, DayZ, we better check that game out. And then, that player, that streamer list just grows massively, and the servers are the same.
Yep.
When someone big starts a server, maybe I'll start a DayZ server as well. And then you end up with, what are we at? Nearly 10,000 different DayZ servers.
Around 10,000 servers, yeah. You think, and then you've got the launcher error as well, which at the moment is causing all sorts of problems for people.
Yep.
I mean, it's that launcher issue is horrific. I have trouble finding the servers that are sat within arm's reach of me.
Yeah.
And my launcher can't find them. Don't get me wrong, we've got the direct connect, which it's great, but direct connect basically means you've got to go and find these bloody servers yourself. And how are you going to find them without knowing the name?
Yep, you've got to know the details to direct connect with. So it's a bit the launcher really needs some love. I know there's third-party ones out there, but it needs some massive love to be more user friendly.
Yeah, it really does. Even if they just had a centralized place you could go and search for the details, where it wouldn't demand that you could use something like Battlemetrics, but again, you need to know the name of the server. You can't just go on and go, I'm looking for a server on Livonia.
Yep.
And it do what the launcher used to do and spit you out a big long list of Livonia servers for you. No, and what it does display now just screams that something's incredibly wrong with it. I mean, I'm in the world where it's 99% Chinese inflated servers. But just, most of them have got partial data mismatches as well, so you couldn't connect to them even if you wanted to.
Like recently, I've just brought it up now. Let's have a look-see at it. Oh, well, there we go. Look at that.
Oh, wow, yeah. It's like Windows 95.
So I've got it set for first person only, and just how long it takes to start
Yeah,
generating. And I know I'm streaming right now, but yeah, and that'll slow down my internet connection a bit. But just look at the amount of the
yeah,
number of servers: 11, 12.
it's ridiculous.
The, no, still,
I've left mine for prolonged periods of time and come back, and it's only ever actually reached 3,000 to 4,000 servers. It's not even got halfway through the server list.
and we've still got this little button down here: play Survivor games. Now, I wonder how many people look at that and go, "What is Play SG?" I wonder how many people click on that button just to see what it does, and it does.
Yep.
Nothing. I haven't clicked on it in ages. Who knows? They may be playing, 200 IQ games of us, and they've got a new Survivor Games model up, just waiting for someone to.
It's the DayZ 2 button. They just don't know it.
Yeah.
It'll be sat here on number one.
I'm probably going to crash myself. I click the button then.
Yeah,
so
you're probably going to load in with no PBOs or something.
look at this. We've got 0 of 35. Oh, dude, something's loading.
And the thing is, it feels like they don't really want to bother with it because, well, the official ones will show up. So, it's not our issue. And that's when it goes this long. I mean, I know they've acknowledged the problem is there, but it doesn't feel like there's any, admitting of we have a problem, we will fix it, we're aware. Well, can you fix it? Because, we are losing servers because of it, and that's gutting to see.
Yep.
Seeing people shut down the servers who've been doing this for a decent amount of time, had a good player base, had a good player flow, and are just going, you know what, enough's enough. That is the lifeblood of your game bleeding out, essentially. If you lose your modding community, your community servers, you risk losing your player base at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think it was it Sauerkraut talking about how much trouble he's been having on Twitter because of it. It's just I know it's buyer beware when you start a server, and very few people have got the resources on hand to be able to do it at next to no cost for themselves. But at a bare minimum, you need a really good internet connection if you're going to host it at home. But it's sad when you see people losing so much of their community because they're they can't be found. I just shared in the chat, folks. That's the Discord for the Legends community if you want to join it. Especially if you've got skills that you think could help benefit what they're trying to do. It's probably a good place as well. If you want to start developing your skills, you can offer what skills you do have and possibly start learning some new stuff from other like-minded people.
Yeah, we tend to hold. It's not every night. It's almost every night. It's about 5 times a week. We hold VC sessions where you'll get up to 10 of us sitting in there. Everyone's welcome to jump in the VC. We'll be doing different developments or importing models or making mods, and everyone's welcome to come in and throw the 10 cent in, so to speak, if you get what I mean, and have their say about it and learn on and ask questions about what we're doing. So yeah, you can get to meet the team. You'll probably learn something, and if you are stuck, there will be someone there that'll be willing to help, no matter what time of the day or night it is, because we are international now. We run across all time zones. There's about 50% of the staff team awake at any given time of day, plus the fact that a lot of us are gamers, so you might find us there at 5 o'clock in the morning still, as you do.
Now, Darkwing's just said something in chat there, and I'm not accusing you of doing this, Darkwing, but have you had many people try to abuse the relationship with you guys, like come in and expect you to do more than is reasonable for basically what's a free service to everyone?
Yeah.
They forget their manners, basically. They forget,
Yep. We've banned 2 people. I think we've got 4 people that we do still assist, but we're very limited on the assistance that they get because we're very aware that you give them a very small amount and they will be wanting to take a mile. They will want to be taking all of your time and all your entire stuff. Yeah. They want your entire staff on it. They want you to do the work. We've had people come and expect us to build their unit from the ground up, connect it to the internet, and then build their server too, and do the whole works for them. And they just want to take it and open a monetized server from it. And that's not what we're here for.
Do you assist? Okay, there's an interesting one. Do you assist people who are running monetized servers, or are you guys pretty much purely about free?
We're willing to assist monetized servers, but we ask that if any of the assistance that they got from us is something like a mod or something to be used for doing something in the server, that it's not part of their server monetization. But they don't monetize the help they get off us.
Yep.
But they are still entitled to help. They are server owners at the end of the day, and they are providing a service, and they need assistance. So yes, we do. We have, touching on the issues we can have, we have had to ban 2 people. One for being just downright rude and aggressive towards the staff, and another, ironically, for stealing other developments mods.
Wow.
They were connecting to other servers within our hive and servers we recommended, and stealing the mods from them. Basically stripping down the PBOs and repacking them as their own and pawning them off. And when we found it on their workshop, we found multitude of mods from places like the Travelers, Devils, ourselves, Zero. They had a lot of servers mods that just pinched, basically, and they'd used our advice and our teaching on how to repack and strip down PBOs and whatnot in order to do it. So yeah, we were pretty swift and said, look, I'm sorry, but you used the information we gave you for abusive purposes, so you're not welcome. You have to do, I'm afraid.
What they did? How did they react to that?
They didn't react too badly, actually. I think by this point they'd already been caught by a few others, so I think they thought Newt was coming, and they were like, okay, fine, can I leave your name as credits on my mods? No, thank you, please take them off. I don't want my name on mods that are probably got stolen mods on them.
They didn't stop doing what they were doing. Okay, that's pretty shitty. No,
they moved on, and as far as I know, they continue to do it to this day. They get regular DMCAs on their mods. Some people just, they don't care.
No. Wow. So what's the biggest thing that you guys are looking for people to bring as a set of skills, or just anything? What do you guys need the most to help your community?
Active members who give a poo.
Yeah.
To be fair, that's pretty much it. There's not many skills we don't have, and most of the skills that are needed are learnable. You can learn them. What we really need is people who genuinely want to help other members of the DayZ community. We want people who are willing to jump on questions, who are willing to answer tickets, who are willing to say, hey, yeah, actually, do you know what? I've played around with this. I'll come and give you a hand. And people who genuinely want to see not just the legends grow, but the idea and the morals we stand for grow. Want to see groups like the Devils events groups and Ariana and the GG Code, want to see them succeed as well. But they're not just here for, I want some legends clan. It's the one thing we don't want is people, I'm part of the legends, so look, I'm amazing, yay. No, you're part of the legends. Yes, you are amazing, but you're a part of something amazing. You are a group, you are a team of people.
Because one of the things that's good with a community like yours is, and it's something I've heard, I've noticed, that there is that amazing resource of the Modders Discord out there already, but it's quite daunting for a lot of people. You go in there, you see the likes of Dab, Dancer Jesus, all these Arkansas, and all these massive Titan names in the community. And when you're basically a nobody who's learning, or you might even be pretty good, but you're just not known, it is fairly daunting going in there. And some people don't have the most polite social graces over there either. So a community like you guys have is amazing in that it seems like it's a lot more welcoming, a lot more, there's going to be no attitude or next to none. Everyone starts somewhere. Like everyone makes fun of me in my community for my boomer tech issues, but for the most part, like Dancer Jesus, as I said, he spent 4 to 5 hours, and you could see he was in his mind. He was going, this fucking boomer. I'm going to fucking kill him if he fucking presses another button. But he stayed with me, and there was, other than a bit of shit talking, there was no issue. G'day, Fossum. How you doing, mate?
Oh dear. Yeah, I get exactly what you're saying. I mean, when I was first starting and I had to try and reach out for assistance and whatnot, yeah, it is incredibly daunting. I mean, back in the day when, I had a YouTube with 100 subscribers, I've got a Twitch with, I've just become affiliate of 50 followers and an average of like 4 views. And I'm going to ask what is essentially the gods of DayZ modding to give me some assistance to, set up something that does a similar thing to what they do. And it was like, I'm putting my neck on the chopping block here. But yeah, we do have a very different attitude. When you join the Legends, the first thing you're going to find is a really welcoming atmosphere with people basically having a laugh. And one of the first things you'll be told is, don't worry, we were there one day.
Good question in chat there from Darkwing. I get not ripping someone's code, but is recreating a mod your own way acceptable or no? That's a funny one, mate. Because you've even only got to look at when BI themselves implement something. We had Iceblade, I think it was on, with his Toxic Zone mod. And then when BI introduced Toxic Zones, which is they'd already talked about it, but they didn't give any credit to him for having done it in that time. It's a risky area, mate. You're going to upset people, but at the end of the day, if you're doing it for the right reasons, you think you could do it better, or whatever, go ahead. Someone's always going to get butt hurt over anything you do. All you can do is do it with the purest of intentions yourself, and be prepared to back that up, because it is a risky area. Some people will get offended, and especially if you're recreating a monetized mod that someone's making money from, then they're really going to get their nose out of joint, most likely, because you're impacting their hip pocket. So it's up to you.
Yeah, I agree with them. There was a key word there, credit.
Yeah.
It's the credit. See, I actually have a mod that is a modification of another mod. I have the Keep It Dead normal zombie edition. It's an adaptation of the Keep It Dead mod, where when you die, your player comes back as a zombie. But in their edition, the zombie is noticeable that it's not a normal zombie. It's got a completely different skin texture. Its animations are different. So the normal zombie edition makes it a normal zombie. So if you died to zombies, for example, unless you had a backpack on, you're going to actually have trouble finding which zombie was your character that's got your loot on it. That obviously has full credit given to the original mod and says, this is a modification of this mod. Yes, the work done afterwards is the work I've done, but the original work that has been adapted was not my work. This is this person's work. And you should check that mod out. Check them out.
Giving credit is so important. Like I think on the website that I've got for us, I acknowledge the first 2 people to do DayZ Podcast before me. You've had the Barely Infected and Super FC LOL one. Then Cooper had his one. I start this show off playing Barely Infected's music as a nod to him. I've got his permission to do that. It costs me nothing. To me, I think it shows that, I value the people who, they had to walk so we could run with the show, sort of thing. And I regularly go in, well, not regularly, I don't go in anywhere near as often, because that's the sad part of being a content creator. You get to watch less and less content yourself. And, a bit like modders, the more you get into the modding world, the less you get to play the game, because you constantly look at something and go, oh, that looks broken, I need to fix that. And but there's nothing wrong with doing that. Provided you're doing something with the purest of intentions, there shouldn't be an issue. Just don't abuse it.
Yeah, I think the credit gets overlooked a lot by modders and creators on what the reaction is on the other side. If you've ever seen your name in the credits of something, then you'll actually understand what I'm talking about here. It's a massive elated. It's such a great feeling. You actually see it and go, wow, they used my stuff.
Yep.
I have made a difference in something. I have helped somebody do something. That little one line that you put in there can make somebody's day. Yep. And can make them go, do you know what? This is actually quite good then. People like this. That other idea I had that I didn't know if it was any good, I'm going to try it. And snowballs and continues. So yeah, always give credit. No matter how small you think it is or how much they're not going to want. You might think these guys are so big they're not even going to care if I mention them. You'd be surprised. You really will.
Yeah, chat is quiet on Twitch, mate. We're just over there, but our preferred platform is YouTube. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same, to be honest. My preferred platform is YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube has the growth over time. It has the constant content that never goes. And I feel like YouTube is an easier world to get into over time than Twitch is. Twitch demands a lot of your time, a lot of your effort. And it'll only take a very small dip in your Twitch to severely damage your channel.
Yeah.
A few months off Twitch. I mean, I took a break, obviously, a few months back for some medical reasons. So I took a break on YouTube and Twitch. When I returned, my YouTube was still growing at pretty much the same rate it was when I left. When I returned to Twitch, and it's been a good few months now, my Twitch still hasn't recovered. I'm still only averaging about 5 views now, where I was in the 25 to 30 views on the average.
Mate,
yeah, it's still
make the switch. Start streaming over on YouTube. There's not many people doing it. It's a. I was even trying to talk Pooh Bundy into doing it because there's chat slow on Twitch because they can't read very fast over there. But YouTube, in my opinion, is ripe for the taking. Beans and Facility and Archie and all the rest of them, they're just killing it because there's not many other people telling you. There's a lot of looks like Russian channels and stuff like that streaming on YouTube. But other than that, there's Nexar, I think, is another one. There's a few names I'm seeing, and they're getting sizable audiences watching them.
I mean, the only streams I have done on YouTube have averaged better than the ones I've done on Twitch. They tend to, and I tend to get more new people in on YouTube than I do on Twitch. And don't get me wrong, I love all you people on Twitch, you're all amazing. And it is usually the same people on Twitch. Very rarely. I mean, one maybe a stream, one every other stream.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, it's 4 or 5 new people every stream.
Yep.
Every time, And I thank you, darling. I feel like YouTube actually does better at streaming than Twitch does. I think you get a better quality. It's less taxing on your internet, and seems to be less taxing on your OBS too. I can easily stream in 1080p, 60 frames a second.
Just this weird issue where it drops out on you every now and then, but that's probably just a me thing.
Yes.
I'm probably pressing an end button that I just don't realize is an end button.
I think it's done it on me every now and then. It's just completely dropped for 20 seconds or so and just buggered off and come back.
Yeah. But no, mate, what about people donating assets to use in mods and things like that? Is that something you guys need?
Yes. Oh, yes. We struggle really, really badly to get some of the models and some of the assets. Kill Switch has been an absolute godsend for the Legends recently in this last couple of months since he joined in gaining models and importing them to the game. But he's like a one-man army doing it at the moment. He is the only person we've got that's got the time to do it and the skills. We've got 2 others that can do importing, but they don't have the time. They work away and they work extremely long hours, so they tend to come in for a couple of days and then they'll be gone for a couple of months again. Getting those assets are not easy. I mean, especially when you're having to source them for free. There's not a lot of places out there, but and there has been times where we've rallied round and dipped our hands in our pockets and said, we're just going to have to. We haven't got a choice. We're just going to have to buy it. As much as we don't want to, as much as we can't really afford to, let's just chip it all in, all throw a couple of quid in and get it. And if we had more assets donated, we would be able to do a lot more.
Because that is something that I would love to see more of is, again, one of the ideas I've had is just creating a pool of assets that people can use. You see, like I've been playing Deer Isle a bit at the moment. Finally, I put it off because the same as I'm not going to play Sons of the Forest because it's in early access. I've had enough of early access. I'll wait until games are well into the development process because I don't want to get burnt out on a game. So I'm just going to wait. but I would love to see some more assets designed that map makers can use. I can see they've got some, but you look at Banov, some of the houses in Banov, they're great, but they're kind of clunky. You try to get into the upstairs area, you get caught in the stairs and things like that.
Yeah.
I would love to see people donating, well-made, suited to DayZ models for these map makers to be able to use, or working on the ones they've gotten to assist them with what they're doing. Models for items in game and things like that, so they're not just having to go and buy them from the different stores that you can buy this stuff from. They can get stuff custom made. Even some of the houses in DayZ, make them so that they match the vanilla building structures. There's so many of the structures even in vanilla DayZ that you put a gate in and it won't fit, or it doesn't fully cover it all, and yeah.
Yeah. How many times have you been doing vanilla base building and locked yourself in a building because you can no longer access the lock?
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been.
Yeah.
I've done it again. I mean, there was a prime example of the problem with a lot of these assets as well. I was doing an event for Stella Witch today, a stream snipe event, and we were holding it on the Dark Medieval Age map, reluctantly, because the map is, I hate to badmouth maps, but it's terrible. The assets on there they look great, but they're useless. You can't access the upper floors of any of the buildings. A lot of the buildings, you can't even get all the way into them. There is no loot spawns for any of the buildings, so you can't spawn any loot in them. Stuff's so spread apart and looks so janky, it just doesn't seem to match. It's like you've taken buildings from 4 different time periods and slapped them together. None of them sit right on the terrain. And it's like, if they could have got better assets, that map would probably be a lot more popular than it is. Because it is actually quite a funky map. It's very different than everything else. With poor, low-quality assets.
Speaking of maps, Esca 2, what's going on there?
So Esca 2 is not technically a new map. It's technically an overhaul. So it's Esca 0.58 that we've then taken a project to attempt to finish it, if you get what I mean.
Yep.
You love Esca. It is one of my favourite maps.
The city is beautiful.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's so well made. And it seems such a shame that there were these massive open expanse areas with nothing in them, these long roads that led to nowhere. So we went mad with the editor, basically, over the period of 6 months. Just over 50,000 items added to the map in the end. We added new towns, new cities, new airports, airfields, military zones, power plants, water treatment centres, secret underground areas, research facilities. Basically tried to bring it up to the levels of places like Namonsk, where it had all these interesting points of points of interest and whatnot. It's taken a bit of time for people to start noticing and to use it. It's got nearly 1,000 subscribers now, which
so the map is available for people to use.
Yes, yeah, it's public on the workshop, and basically it's so you still install the original Esca as the map, and it comes with a collection of PBOs which are all pre-packed, keyed, and signed for you, and a DZE. So you load the DZE through DayZ Editor, which does most of the map editing for you, and then there's a whole bunch of new assets and a few little comfort of life things in there, like universal suppressors. It's a nice little comfort of life. So yeah, you load it as a secondary mod to run parallel with Esca. It's also, I think the best part of it is it is editable. So the DZE and such is not binarized. So you can take the DZE and you can strip it out and you can do what you want with it. So if you say you don't like this power plant area, for example, you can load the DZE into editor, edit this power plant area, take out what you want, put in what you want, fiddle around with it, and have your own version of it. My net's not very happy with me. I had this was the first major development, I'd say, that we took on as Legends. And this one was done at a request of Mythos.
Yep.
Hosting event servers for him on Ethica, or Messica as we called it. And it was getting to the point where people were starting to get bored of Ethica. There was nothing really to do. So we took on the project to give them more areas, to give them more, more stuff.
There you go, folks. There's a link to the trailer if you're interested in that, because that's I myself, and I try to keep my finger on the pulse of a lot of things, but I wasn't aware that was ready to go. I only had it mentioned to me before the stream. It was like, oh, Esca too, eh? I'll have to ask about that. Now, something else I have to ask you about. Shared ban list. You wanted to talk about this. So hit me. Everyone's heard my opinion on it. What's your issues with it?
The Legends servers does not use CF tools.
Yep.
On any of our servers. We have two reasons. One is the shared ban lists, which, in our opinion, can be very, very dangerous. And I know you've touched a lot on what can happen if you get a salty admin, for example, that wants to whack you on the list. But there are two other ways you can be banned or shadow banned, which aren't talked about so often. One is IP linking, which we've had a major problem with. And another is actually getting blocked by CF themselves. Now, we ended up in an argument with CF over this. Originally, before I overhauled my network, got a new internet connection, new routers, and importantly, a static IP. I used to be on dynamic IPs. So your server IP would change every week or so. Bit of annoying for the server hosters, which is why we went static. Now, at the time, I was the only person using CF tools on the Legends network. I only used it for an event server. It was just so we could have the kill feed. And obviously, we'd switched to static. And one of my server hosts, Jack, set up his server, logged into his server as he always does, set up CF tools, went to CF tools, you're allowed one for free. So he set up his one for free. 24 hours later, I got an email from CF tools telling me I had 48 hours to switch to a paid subscription because I'd circumnavigated their single account usage. So obviously I opened a ticket with them and explained, look, I think I know what's going on here. They've logged in on their server, which is showing the static IP, which is the server's IP. I live in the same property as the servers, so you can see my account sign in. You must be able to see where this account is, and it's based on the other side of the country, so it's obviously not me. And they just come back and said, no, we want you to switch to a paid service. So I contacted Jack, and it turned out he'd got the same email as well, that he'd had to switch to a paid service. So Jack obviously cancelled his subscription, pulled CF tools off straight away. I didn't want him involved just in case. You never know what's going to happen. And I basically fought and said, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not paying to have one account for free. If I want to put another one of my own personal servers on it, then I'd happily pay for a paid account. That's not a problem. And I just got an email saying we will take action against your account. Thought nothing of it. Next day I couldn't log into CF. Bit weird. So I went to go and join my favourite server and got an error that said access denied. CF Tools account cannot be found. That account is still like that to this day. I now have to play on an alt just so I can play on any CF Tools enabled server.
So wait, you can't even play on any server that has CF Tools on that account now?
Correct. At all. And that's purely because they think I've circumnavigated their free server thing. And it was purely because the IP that was used was the static IP. So we logged in from this system. So we came up on the same IP. This can also happen with the shared ban list. So say you've got a dynamic IP, your IP changes all the time, or you connect in hotspots, public Wi-Fi places and such. If that IP has been picked up and used by somebody who's done something naughty, your account will get linked to them as a potential second account. The owners of the shared ban list can then see that as a potential second account and can choose whether to ban you or not. They can go, oh, we think that's an alt to this cheater who's cheated 10 times. And they'll ban you for possible ban evading. And you're like, well, what the hell have I done? All you've done is log into a public Wi-Fi or log in with an IP that's been used before by someone naughty. I've never agreed with the IP linking system. it's not an accurate system. People's IPs change. Unless you've picked a static IP like I did, your IP does change every few weeks. And there's only so many IPs you can have.
I just got asked what we're supposed to have Philip on. I have reached out to Philip, and he was quite reciprocal about agreeing to talk to me. But basically, I said I want to get my knowledge improved because I've never used CF tools myself, and I don't know a lot about it. And this is stuff like I'm just finding out now. There's a lot more to this than I'm aware of. And it's not just CF tools. It's also the Secret Squirrel Discord club server owners have got their own shared ban lists, and there's
Deutsches Bohrisch Maschines is another one. They've actually gone after a few of the legends recently. I think about 6 people from the legends just randomly banned by them, no apparent reason. And I know of them from admin work I used to do with Ransbood, and we would take a lot of bans off there. I never understood what was going on back then. I was very early to admin work. Never really understood what was going on with all the bans that we were taking from them. But every other ban you'd get from them, there'd be an immediate ticket open with appeal. And then when you went to CF, there'd be no evidence attached to it.
Yeah.
It'd just say banned, cheating. Banned. Undesirable is one I see a lot as well. Undesirable.
Or the classic auto reputational ban. I'm like, what does that even mean?
Reputational ban? What is that?
What did I say? Something bad on Twitter? Did I say something bad to a admin or whatever? And I stand by every server has the right to ban whoever they want for whatever reason they want, but they're going to have to deal with the consequences of that. If they're just banning people because they got a bit salty in chat or something like that. We shared that clip the other week with the dadmin and that guy Daniel, who's a bit of a troll on. He likes to play with the admins and that. But that guy was the gold standard of how to handle someone like that. Don't burr up, just go along with it and just lay out the rules very clearly and stick to them. You don't need to get salty. You don't need to start banning and if the person's a repeat offender, of course, but. The big thing here as well, you mentioned, was the lack of evidence associated with a lot of them. When you see them on CF tools and they're toxic, but there's nothing attached, no screenshots of a Discord message or recording of a voice chat or anything like that, it's ripe for abuse. They're great systems. I love these systems, but there's ways that they can be,
I think if they altered it in such a way where you could use it to ban someone from your server, and you could do that without evidence if you wanted. But if you wanted that to be shared with any other server owner,
it needs to have a minimum standard.
Yeah, it needs to have a standard that stick to.
It needs to be a decision made by multiple admins of a server, particularly if they're the bigger ones. And, when it's lodged in, if it's going to be a permanent, like the example of the one we showed, then that needs to be reviewed by someone. And now that I know that CF Tools is a monetized method, there needs to be proper checks and balances in place. Because whilst the server owners are the consumer, it's pretty ordinary that can happen. That people can be banned with no evidence attached to it. It's bizarre.
Yeah, and as you said, it is CF Tools is a monetized service, so it sort of falls on them to safeguard the people that are using their service.
Yep.
And even though these people that are playing are not paying CF, they're not subscribed to CF, they're playing on a CF Tools enabled server. Their right to play DayZ is in CF's hands.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else you want to say about that issue, mate?
No, I think we pretty much covered it there. They are the main ways that shadow banning is going on. There's obviously the other way, like you said, with the secret discords and such, where people send Steam IDs to each other.
Yeah.
And there's the salty one where they print screen your Steam ID from your stream or your YouTube video and ban you just because they're jealous.
And look, Darkwing said it in chat there. That is the gold standard. Servers I admin, I don't play. But in some cases, that is a bit unreasonable. It's a bit like what we were talking about earlier with modders have got to remember to get on and actually play the game to keep that love. Most of them start modding because they love the game and they think it needs some improvements. Don't forget to play. And it's the same with servers. But if it's a monetized server where people are making money from it, I really do think that is a no. That becomes almost like a business then for you. And it's important that you don't. You don't want to have what happened with Milo's servers. If you don't know about that, you can go back and watch the spotlight I did with Milo. But yeah, it's a funny one. We'll do a quick question from the chat there. Mr. White had one. Do you think that players should be able to switch servers with their gear on official? What do you think about that one, Dave?
Well, didn't we at some point be able to do that? I'm sure back in the day you could actually do that.
That's what I thought.
It punished you. Yeah, it punished. If I remember rightly, it punished you by moving your character position and prolonging the login time. So you wouldn't be in the same town that you were in before. You'd be somewhere else, a decent distance from it, and you would have to wait a substantial amount of time to log in. It was like 45 seconds or a minute, something.
Because a lot of people were ghosting. That was back in the early access days. Ghosting was a really big issue. They'd switch to another server, move into the building that you were camped in, and come up behind you and just take you out from behind. We all had that happen to us back in the day. So they countered that with the it moved you somewhere else. And I thought you still could, because I've joined a few times on servers and I don't remember being here.
I'm pretty sure it just disappeared. I know the gear carrying over at some point. I can't remember when it was. But I don't play official that much. But I know that the few times I played official recently, it's been a fresh character on every server I've gone to. I've not been able to transfer it over. Which I kind of feel like you should be able to, yes, to be fair.
Fine.
I mean, because you can go to a server and it be pretty picked clean.
Yep.
There's not much on it. And to go and have to start fresh again and then come back to that character later without realising, you end up then with 7 different characters. Don't know what each one's doing.
Yep.
Yeah, it'd be nicer to have one.
Yep, like I remember watching TRMZ back in the day when you couldn't, and you'd log onto a series like, oh, geez, I didn't remember I had a character on this one, and it becomes almost impossible. And again, maybe if the launcher was better designed and it could show you what each character was with each server, you could look at it and go, oh yeah, I've got that guy and he's located here, and but you just can't do that. And no one's going to keep a spreadsheet of every server they've got and what their character has and all the rest of it, but. Mate, I love what you have done, getting back to the original topic with this Legends community. I think it is admirable, and I would love to see more people volunteering their time and services. I know some of them, especially the modders, they've got their own portfolio of mods they've got to keep running, and that's it. That's the other thing you need to remember when you're a modder, a server owner, the work never stops. Every update, this update's been a classic for showing it. Every update creates a headache for you. So I hope you guys continue with doing what you're doing, mate, because you're providing a valuable service that the DayZ community needs.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having us. I
love the fact that you're streaming from your office. You get the missus in the background there, and you're like you can't even stop just to do an interview. You had to get up a number of times. It just shows that you are working your ass off with what you guys have got. And I fucking love that, mate. That is brilliant. Please keep it up. And I'm going to see what I can do to try to get some more attention to you guys, maybe get some more resources in the way of people and assets and things like that. Maybe even look at doing a fundraiser stream for you guys or something, raise some money so you can buy some models. And I will post the Legends Discord again. Give me 1 second.
Thank you.
Bada boom, bada bing.
I will say it's not just me that lives like this in the Legend. There are a proportion of our staff team when we jump into VCs at night are sat in their living room. They're halfway through having their tea. They've just got back from work. Lead Breakfast is the prime example of that. He's messaging he's on his way back from work before he's got back from work, and he's immediately on the computer. He's catching up with everything. Yep. And the whole team works their absolute butts off for it, and a lot of the time for little to no credit sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes they work their absolute butts off and all they've got to show for it is the smile that's on the face. But hey, if you're smiling, you're doing something right.
There we go. We've had you've had 6 new people join since the stream started this morning, mate. So
brilliant. Thank you very much. Welcome, everyone. Staff, give them a welcome.
Fate, Sincere, King Aloba, Octal Paprika, Buddha, and All the Smoke. Thank you for joining
All the Smoke,
the Legend
great name.
server. Yeah. Yep.
There's always one a day that's always got a really good name.
Yeah, I love when you find those good names. Like even when I used to stream, and you get someone in with a clever name, and it's like, I like that name. That's a good one.
That's
a very
a good one. Yeah, well done.
Yeah, mate, keep it up. And we will definitely be staying in contact with you. If you've got anything at all, even if you can't come on as a guest, but something you want to let people know about, let us know. We're happy to shout it out. And that goes for anyone about almost anything. When it comes to DayZ, if you've got something, let us know. If you've got a big event, let us know. We'll try to shout it out on the show because, it's awesome what you guys are doing, mate. I can't thank you enough. Just have that resource out there for people to help them because it's so daunting. Even when you're thinking about starting a server, there's a lot. Do I rent one? Do I get a Deddy? The pros and cons of each, and that's why I had all those server owners on a few weeks back. The spotlight on community servers, because it is daunting. Like having dabbled in running a server myself, it's not easy. Not easy. It's a labor of love. You have to love it to be able to stick with it. And it's ruthless as well. It's ruthless, but that's a topic for another day. Dave, thank you so much, mate. Hopefully we get some more people join when we get this video uploaded to YouTube as well. And like I said, we will definitely see what is happening. All the Smoke, I will be reaching out to the Face Fiction team this week to see about tying in a time. Don't forget, if you've got questions about the DayZ movie, hit us up, join the Discord and post your questions because I want to know what you guys all want to know about it as well. Dave, you're a legend, mate. Your team name is very suitable. Legendary Server Development. I love that. But I think you need to change that just from servers because you're doing a lot more than just servers, mate. You're doing events, you're doing mods, everything. So, yeah, keep it up.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you for having us. And from all the legends, thank you for putting a bit of a spotlight on us. I know it means the absolute world to the team. I know that a lot of them are sat in my Twitch now. They've been really, really excited for this. I'm not going to lie. They're really looking forward to it. So it means the world to us. And, I think we're going to carry on doing some great things for DayZ in the future.
Awesome. I can't wait to see what you do, mate. And speak to your favourite community servers and let them know about Essica too, folks. Because, a lot of people still play Essica, but most of them are just playing the very small map size that there is at the moment, which is kind of limited. So let them know that there is something out there that they can have a much deeper and richer experience playing good old Essica because it's a good map. It's a damn good map.
Yep, it most certainly is. And it's free and you can edit it and do whatever you want with it. So
brilliant.
Win-win.
All the best, Dave. Good luck. Get back to work, mate. It looks like I interrupted you from a busy evening. So, yeah.
Always.
and my apologies once again, mate. Tech issues, they're something that especially someone like myself has all the time. But sorry, one other thing I want to point out as well. I love that there's that culture in your community. I'm just looking at some of the names now. Everyone knows Chimney. Everyone knows Ant. Everyone knows. I think you've got Lead as well. There's all these everyone knows names. I love that you're creating that nice community. So if you're looking for a good positive community, it looks like the Legends Discord is one of those, folks. So I can't shout out those sort of places enough.
Thank you very much.
All the best, buddy. And we'll stay in contact and I'll speak with you sometime this week about what else we can do to collab to help you guys out.
Fantastic. We look forward to it. Thank you.
Cheers, mate. All the best. And ciao for now.
Bye.
And we are